Hello everyone, welcome to EduManiacs. Today in this video lecture, we are going to learn about rural entrepreneurship, which is one of the concepts of UGC NET Management, Paper 2, 10th Unit Entrepreneurship. So let's get started. There are about 70% of India's population who lives in rural areas, and out of them, 75% of rural force are still earning their livelihood through agriculture in the allied activities. Like there are about 70% of the Indian people population are living in the village, and 75% of the rural area people are earning their livelihood only through agriculture. Even though there is a scope of establishing the industry there, rural enterprise there, the most of the people who are living in the rural areas are earning their livelihood through agriculture. So there is a necessity to develop the rural industrialization and entrepreneurship there. So what is rural entrepreneurship? In general, rural entrepreneurship is it ensures the value addition of the rural resources in the rural areas, engage largely rural human resources. That is, it adds the value to the resources that are present in the rural areas and also engage largely rural human resources. It consists of employees. Most of the employees are from the rural areas, and it adds the value addition to the resources. It utilizes the rural resources present in the rural areas and also the human resources present in the rural areas. In short, rural entrepreneurship is nothing but if an enterprise is located in the rural area, then it is called rural entrepreneurship. But there is another definition which is given by Kadi Village Industry Commission KVIC. According to it, a rural industry means that is industry located in the rural areas. It must be located in the rural area, and the population of that particular rural area should not exceed 10,000, and it should produce goods and services with use of power or without use of power, and the fixed capital investment per head should not exceed 10,000 rupees. That is, look carefully, the fixed capital investment per head should not exceed 1,000 rupees and the population should not exceed 10,000. So these are some of the important points to be considered if an enterprise wants to be considered to be a rural enterprise. So it has to follow these rules to be considered to be a rural enterprise. So types of entrepreneurship. What are the types of rural entrepreneurship? Let's see. So according to the industry, there are agro-based, forest-based and mineral-based rural enterprises. Agro-based are they are direct sale or processing of agro-based products. There are agro-based products like we have jaggery, sugar, pickles, oil processing from the oil seeds, fruit juices, dairy products and spices. All this comes under the agro-based industries. And forests will go for wood products, beadi making, coir making, bamboo, honey, eating plates from the leaves. All this comes under the forest-based enterprises, the rural entrepreneurship. And mineral-based are like industries including cement, stone crushing, wall coating powders. All this comes under rural enterprises. Next, textile enterprises. So weaving, spinning, coloring and bleaching comes under this textile. Handicrafts, that are wooden, bamboo handicrafts that are local to area. Some decorative products which we use in our showcases, toys and other handicrafts typical to that region. And engineering industries like small, medium sized and industries to produce agricultural machinery, which produces the agricultural machineries and equipment usage in the rural areas. Whatever the machinery used in the agriculture for the rural areas, it is developed through this engineering enterprise. And services, like there will be services like mobile repair, agriculture machinery servicing, all this comes under the rural enterprises. So according to the ownership, the rural enterprises are divided into individual. It is run by a single person, single ownership will be there, and group means private, partnership or public limited, like that, and cluster means NGOs, VOs, CBOs, all this comes under the cluster. And cooperatives are nothing but autonomous association of the persons united voluntary for the common objectives. These are cooperatives. And type of rural entrepreneurs are farm entrepreneurs. They do the farming activities, and artisans or handicrafts activities they will do, and merchant traders do trading activities, and tribal entrepreneurs belong to tribal areas. And there are other entrepreneurs like educated, unemployed, scheduled castes. All this comes under the types of rural enterprises and entrepreneurs. Next, what are the features of rural industry? There is very low investment. The investment will be very low in the rural industry, and they use the traditional skills, and they produce the mass customer goods and handicrafts, and there will be a decentralized production system, and they use locally available raw materials, and they cater to the limited market, and the products have unique value. These are the features of rural enterprises. The investment will be very low, and they use complete raw materials from the rural areas itself, and there will be limited market catering, and the products will have a unique and aesthetic value. So what is the need of rural entrepreneurs? So over 70% of the population live in the rural areas. The rural areas are labor intensive. That means the labor availability will be widespread in those areas. So there will be greater disparities in the income of rural and urban areas as well. So regional development, for the development of the region, particular region, rural entrepreneurship is necessary, and they are rich in traditions and handicrafts. So reduce the poverty and growth of slums and populations in the city, awaken the youth, improving the literacy rate of rural population. For all these things, there is a necessity of rural entrepreneurship. So what this thing is saying is, the 70% of the population live in rural areas, so there will be a lot of availability of labor, so we can utilize the labor with the so efficiently in order to produce the products, handicrafts. So it is necessary to have rural enterprises, and also there should be regional development in the rural areas as well, and to avoid the disparities of income in the rural and urban areas. And as the rural areas are rich in traditions and handicrafts, we have to utilize it, and with the help of establishment of the rural enterprises, there will be reduction in the poverty, and there will be reduction in the growth of slums and the pollutions in the cities, and there will be awakenment of youth, and also improving the literacy rate of the rural population is can be done. So this is a need of rural entrepreneurship. Coming to advantages, what are the advantages of rural enterprises? Like, they can utilize, with the help of the rural enterprises, we can utilize the capital, utilizes the local resources which are present there, and we can provide the employment opportunities, and we can avoid the migration of rural employees who are leaving rural areas and migrating to the cities, and there will be balanced regional growth. That is, there will not be any disparities in the growth of the regions, and there will be promotion of artistic and creative activities, and there will be a check for the social evils. We can eradicate the social evils, and we can encourage the rural area youth to participate and become rural entrepreneurs, and it also improve the standard of living of the people, and there will be equitable distribution of income with the help of this rural enterprise. So there are problems also faced by the rural enterprises are lack of infrastructure. There is lack of infrastructure in the rural areas, the water supply or the current, anything. There is a lack of infrastructure and no support or attitude to the financial institutions. Financial institutions are not providing the support, proper support to the rural enterprises, and there will be lack of technical know-how. The knowledge is very minimum, like even the internet facilities will not be provided there, and updation of new technologies will not be there in that rural areas. And there is lack of communication facilities in the rural areas and storage facilities, and rigidity in the rules while providing the loans to the rural entrepreneurs. So there is a lack of quality management, there is lack of finance and also the skilled labor. There is fear of investment in the business, and there will be some political pressures, and there will be poor account maintenance. Purchasing power of rural areas also low, and there will be competition. So these are some of the problems that are faced by the rural entrepreneurs. So the government have to take necessary actions in order to minimize this problem, so that there will be growth of rural enterprises. And recommendations to solve these problems are to educate the rural enterprises and entrepreneurs. We have to educate them properly, and we have to offer the finance to them without any rigidity of the rules and at the low rate of interest. And government should take the appropriate actions to minimize all these problems. And coming to government schemes for rural entrepreneurs, government has bought up some of the schemes for the rural entrepreneur. They are like Entrepreneurship Development Institute scheme, Rajiv Gandhi Udyama Mitra Yojana, Performance and Credit Rating scheme, Product Development Design Intervention and Packaging scheme, Marketing Assistance scheme, Provision of Urban Amenities to Rural Area scheme. These are the schemes produced for the rural entrepreneurs, for the favor of rural entrepreneurs. So what is importance of rural entrepreneurship in India? There will be proper utilization of the local resources, and employment generation will be there. As the more and more rural enterprises establish, there will be employment generation, and there will be also economic development, and also foreign exchange will be there, and entrepreneurial development will be also there. So what are the roles of entrepreneurs in economic development? That is formation of capital. They can form the capital, and there will be balanced regional development, employment generation, which in turns improve in the standard of living of people, and there will be increase in the per capita income. If there is more and more rural enterprises established, then it will increase the per capita income, and there will be self-reliance, national self-reliance, and planned production will be there, and equitable distribution of economic power. Economic power is distributed equitably everywhere. So with the help of if more and more rural enterprises develop, there will be formation of capital, and there will be also balanced regional development, that is between urban areas and rural areas. There are disparities in the regional development. It will be balanced. And employment generation, as more and more of people are migrating from rural areas to urban areas due to lack of employment. If more and more rural enterprises come forward, established, then there will be less problem of unemployment, and there will be less migration of people to urban areas. And if more and more employment is generated, then they will get salary. With the help of salary, they will try to purchase, which in turn improves the standard of living, and which in turn improves the per capita income, of the country, and there will be equitable distribution of economic power. Next, how to develop the rural entrepreneurship. So strengthen the raw material base in the rural areas. You have to strengthen the raw material bases, and also you have to means the funds should be available on time to the entrepreneurs, and even we have to develop the entrepreneurial competencies in the rural areas through training, and also offer some infrastructural facilities, as we have already discussed in the previous slide, that there is insufficient infrastructure facilities in rural areas, and establishment of the proper communication also should be done. So all these problems what we have discussed earlier, if they are minimized, then there is a scope of development of rural entrepreneurship. Next, what are the advantages of rural projects? There will be tax advantages, and there will be availability of cheap labor, and local regional resources in the case of unit uses the raw materials. They use the raw materials locally, that are locally available, and prestige and respect among the local community will be improved with the help of this rural projects, and local youth will come, and they take up the entrepreneurial projects, and there will be a lot of employment generation, which in turn improves the standard of living, and there will be support and motivation from the local people. There will be employment generation for the local people. So these are advantages if we have a rural project. So there will be employee generation, and there will be scope of coming up of more and more entrepreneurs, the rural areas, and there will be increase in the respect in the local community, and there will be balanced regional development, and there will be availability of cheap labor. So whatever the income disparities will be settled. And coming to investment classification, wise classification of MSME, micro, small, medium scale enterprises. So we can see that for micro, here there are two enterprises, that is manufacturing sector and service sector we have taken. So for micro, it is investment is around 25 lakhs for manufacturing sector, and for small it is around 5 crores, and medium it is rupees 10 crores. For the service sector, micro rupees 10 lakhs, small rupees 2 crores, and medium rupees 5 crores. So this is all about rural entrepreneurship. Hope this class is clear to you. If you have any doubts, please mention in the comment section below. For more and more videos on UGC NET Management Paper 2, please subscribe and like our channel. Thank you.